Hello, we're going to use a ball today for our workout. We are going to start standing today for our workout. Feet parallel with a little space in between your feet. Take your ball, place it against your chest, right on your breastbone, about there. And then you're going to take your hands and I want you to cup around the top of the ball. Now as we go through our warm-up breathing, I'm going to cue you to move your elbows so they're mimicking the lateral expansion and contraction that you want to feel for at your ribs. When you breathe in, let your elbows open a little wider to symbolize that expansion. Then when you exhale, give a little pressure into the ball with your hands and draw your elbows back in. When you breathe in, release the pressure in your hands to allow the elbows to float out. And then when you exhale, you're going to squeeze that ball a little, like you would imagine the abs are compressing to help pull the ribs back in. And as you continue with that nice slow rhythm of the expansive phase and the contraction phase, notice what happens to the rest of your body as a reflection of this pressing into the ball. When you breathe in, as you release the pressure of the ball, you should feel yourself grow taller as well as wider. And then when you give the ball a squeeze again, you'll notice your feet feel heavier, like you're rooting into the floor, as the abs draw in towards your midline. 2 more times. Breathe in, imagine the air going out to the elbows, up to your crown, down to your toes. And then as you exhale, feel that gentle drawing back in towards your center, waking up your abdominal muscles, maybe noticing your inner thighs or your pelvic floor. And 1 more time. Leave the top of the shoulders relaxed, let the elbows open. And then a thorough exhale. Give 1 more little bit of pressure into that ball again. All right, so keep following the attention. So you've imitated the ribs. Let's stick the ball right against them. Put the ball right into the armpit. Take that arm, just like hug that ball in, and then take your other arm and you're going to create a little pressure to help hold the ball in. Now I want to make sure you're not hunched at your shoulder, so also take a second to just kind of roll it back and down so it's relaxed on that ball. Go back to your focused breathing and I want you to keep rooted into the ground. When you breathe in, notice the expansion of the ribs pushing out into the ball. And then when you exhale, as you contract your abs, you're going to feel the ribs pulling in like they're running away from the ball. Let's do that a couple times. Breathe in. And then breathe out. So as you continue to sense the relationship between the ball and your ribs, we're going to add a small side bend motion. As you inhale and breathe into the ball, let your body side bend away from it. So that's the ribs opening. And then as you exhale and the ribs close, sink down and side bend the other way. Breathe in, use the breath to open you into one side bend, and then deflate that side of the ribs. And again, inhale out, and then exhale, feel those ribs run away from the arm. Take the ball out for a sec and just like shake your arm a little. Sometimes it feels a little tingly or weird just from all the pressure in there. Maybe it's good, tingly, and weird. I don't know. All right, you're going to stick it up in your other underarm. Wrap your arm around the ball. Give a little pressure in with that forearm. And then very little roll back and down of the shoulder. Okay, back to just the breath so we can tune in to the right area. When you inhale, take that breath in through your nose. Feel the rib cage expanding out to the side. And then when you exhale, you might need to make a little extra pressure with your arm to help support the ball squeezing back in. As you breathe in, feel your feet on the ground, feel the lateral expansion as we take that air in. And then as you exhale, stay nice and tall through your posture and feel the ball hugging back in toward your ribs. 1 more time, just your breath. And then a thorough exhale, just observe what happens. And now we're going to work with the breath. So as you inhale and breathe into the ball, let your body side bend away from the ball. And then as you exhale and your ribs slide down, you're going to give into that ball, side bending to take its shape. Inhale away from the ball, feel the ribs fan out and open into the ball shape. And then exhale, the ribs come together and down and you flex into it. 1 more time, big breath in. And then a thorough exhale as you sink into the ball. Okay, now we're going to move the ball. I want you to place it between your knees. I'm going to turn side facing away from you. Too much of this into, out of the ball. Okay, let's warm up your lower body. We're just going to go through some easy breezy squats. Check down with your feet to make sure they are parallel. You're going to have plenty of inner thigh work if you keep a squeeze on that ball. By the way, if it's not comfortable between your knees, you can go a little higher than your knees at your thighs. For now, put your hands on your hips just as a reference point. You're going to come down into a squat, and we want to see movement at your hip joint, your knee joint, and your ankle. So you look like a lightning bolt when you get to the bottom. And then when you stand back up, everything's aligned over your heels. So with your hands on your hips, I want you to sense what happens to your pelvis as you come into a squat. And your pelvis should tip forward. And I'm bringing the whole torso with me. Okay, so I'm like a line from my hips to my head, go onto an incline, and then back upright. There's a little bit of ab work to do that, at least to do it without rounding your spine. So you can exhale and find that compressive force in the front of your abdomen. Just keep that relationship between your ribs and hips. Now let's get your arms moving a little bit. So as you go down into your squat, swing your arms forward, then let them hang back down and back when you stand up. And then dropping down and lifting up. Now I want you to make contrast again. So you've got a nice strong tone to your squat, but a loosey-goosey, just swing, easy give to your arms. You can see I'm almost like whipping them down. One more time, and then back up. Take your arms overhead. Now try to lift your heels up, but slow. And you're going to come into balance on the ball of your foot, foots, and then lower back down. Let's do that 5 times. A nice slow lift. It's okay if you have to do a little twinkle toes. I was talking to myself, not you on that one. Back up and down. 2 more slow. And the slow is to challenge your balance, to give you time to feel how you're wobbly and make a correction, especially with the support of the ball. Now let's put the 2 motions together. I want you to go down into the squat with your arms back this time. Rise up, lift your heels. So you're going to feel a weight shift now from the back of your foot. You're digging into the heel. Then your whole body is shifting forward onto the toes and the pads of the foot. Okay, just keep flowing. And it's okay if you're not going at exactly my pace. But if you find yourself doing it really fast, remember, this isn't a cardio time. When you're going mindful, you want to slow down just to the pace of your awareness. And it does make it a little harder when we're balancing, but we're training for those fast moments later when we can't really think. One more time. By the way, this was harder than you thought. It's hard to do this with the ball there. All right, let's head down onto the mat. When you get there, the ball's going to go back in between your knees for a set of hip rolls. Okay, arms are down by your sides. Let's just get a couple basic rolls going. When you're laying in neutral position, just sense the back of your body. The weight of your pelvis and your rib cage and your head should feel like your heavy anchor points into the mat. Take a breath in before you start moving. When you exhale, you're going to rock your pelvis and you'll feel your low back get a little flatter as you start to curl your hips off the mat. Give your ball a squeeze as you continue to lift one vertebra at a time until you're at the base of your shoulder blades. Now hold at the top, take a breath in, and look for that nice, even, expansive quality we practiced in the beginning. When you exhale, roll back down again, soften your breastbone, work through your ribs one at a time, then the bones of your low back, and then your hips. As you inhale, rock back to neutral. On the exhale, start to curl off again. Compress your abs, push into the floor. Okay, so we want to feel where you're stable to let you be mobile as we're trying to wiggle out your spine a bit. Breathe in at the top, and then roll back down again. And as you drop one vertebra at a time, I'm hoping you'll feel a nice stretch along the muscles that run vertically at the sides of your spine. And then inhale, drop back to neutral. One more time like that. Exhale as you curl off. Give a little pressure into your toes. Slide your knees away from your shoulders. Inhale to stay here. And then exhale as you roll back down, pulling your hips toward your heels, and then unraveling back to neutral. Let's add an extra stretch for your lats. On the exhale, roll yourself up again. Now just notice that you're pressing into the floor with your arms. You always have been. We just didn't really put the attention there yet. Now, as you breathe in, you're going to take one arm overhead, lay it on the floor. Okay, so you've got that different sensation in both shoulders. And now roll back down and try to stay centered, moving along the spine. And you should feel an increased stretch on the side with the arm overhead. Inhale, lower your arm. Exhale, curl the pelvis off, roll up to your bridge. So a nice straight line, shoulders to knees. Inhale, the other arm goes overhead. And exhale to roll back down. Inhale, return your arm. Let's do one more on each side. Exhale, curl the pelvis off, squeezing the ball as you lift up. Inhale, one arm reaches overhead. And then exhale as you roll back down. Inhale, lower your arm, last time. Exhale, pass through imprint, curl off the mat. Inhale, arm goes overhead, and then exhale as you roll back down again. And lower your arm. All right, you're going to turn onto your side, but you're going to do it real slowly because I need to take my sweatshirt off. All right, let's get serious. You're going to lay your bottom arm under your head. Legs are in tabletop, so your hips are about 90 degrees, knees are about 90 degrees. And we're going to reach your top arm out long, resting on the ball. I want you to start with a really small motion, and then we'll build off of it. Let's do a little protraction and retraction of your shoulder blade. So you're going to roll the ball forward and back, but only the range of motion you can create by moving the arm and the shoulder blade without rotating your torso at all. Okay, so you just get a nice little glide. Now, go farther so your ribs have to twist. And let your neck and head follow so you end up looking down a little bit. Now we're going to take that motion, pause for a sec, and alternate one of those with a spinal rotation. So again, give you that forward push on the floor. Come back till your shoulders are stacked. Now this time, lift your top arm above your shoulder, and then you're going to rotate your upper body, reaching your arm towards the wall behind you. Now stay here for a breath and keep pressing down your knees to resist the rotation. On the exhale, take your arm back up and over to close. Let's keep alternating. Roll the ball forward. Pull your shoulder back. Lift the arm up to the ceiling. And then rotate back. And again, let your head and neck follow that twist. Stay here for a breath in. When you exhale, lift your arm and close back over. One more time. Roll the ball forward. Pull the shoulder back. Lift the arm up, stack it in line with the shoulder. Now rotate your upper body into the twist. Stay for another breath in, and then exhale to lift your arm and close it back down. All right, before we switch over to the other side, bring the ball in near you, and I want you to put your hand on top of it. I know you can't really see well. It's like 2 inches away from my chest. I don't care where you've placed it, just somewhere where you can push into it with your arms and have an unstable stability challenge there. Now you're going to take your legs, bring them back so they're more in a clamshell angle, and we're going to make some circles with your top leg. Keep your ankles dorsiflexed and like pushing out through the heels the whole time. You're going to inhale, start a circle coming forward and up, and then exhale back and down. Just keep tracing the circle. So here I'm trying to keep my hips, ribs, shoulders stacked up and side lying, and just isolate the leg moving within the joint. When we do that, we have more freedom of motion going forward compared to back, and that active flexed ankle just makes you feel more toned throughout the whole leg. Let's reverse direction of that. Inhale, back and up for half the circle. Exhale, forward and down. Breathe in, feel your ribs expanding. Exhale, compress those abs 3 more times. And let your attention move back and forth from the glide you're trying to create of your leg and your hip and that smooth rhythm of the breath. All right, let's take this over to the other side. And hope I remember all the steps. All right, so first the legs were in tabletop. Head resting on your bottom arm, and then top arm out at chest height, hand on the ball. All right, isolate, then we integrate. Corny, but true. Roll that ball forward and backwards a little bit. Attention's at your shoulder blade, gliding away from your spine, and noticing if you're moving something you don't need to. Did your elbow bend? Did your ribs twist? And just pull it back in a little smaller to a more micro movement. Now, follow it so when the shoulder blade's done gliding, let your ribs turn and let your neck and head turn to follow the ball. One more time, just that part. Okay, now let's incorporate it into spinal rotation. So you're still going to go forward first and then press down on the ball, pull it back towards you. Lift it as you breathe in, rotate back as you exhale. Hold here for a breath in. When you exhale, lift your arm up and close back over. Take an inhale, roll it forward on the floor. Exhale, pull your shoulder back. Inhale, lift your top arm. Exhale, rotate back, glue those knees down to resist the twist. Be patient with your inhale, take that big expansive breath, and exhale, lift and close. One more time. Roll it forward on your inhale, pull the shoulder back, lift the arm up, and rotate back. Stay for a breath in. Exhale, lift your arm back up and over to close. And now bring the ball in toward. Lost my mic. All right. Hand on top of the ball. Try to get your elbow about even with your hand. Wiggle those knees back to your clamshell and then flex your ankles. All right, let's take an inhale breath. You're going to start the circle going forward and up first, and then exhale to bring it back and down. Breathe in as you start the circle, and exhale around and lower. 3 more times. So I don't know if this is universal, but I find I need to give pressure on the ball while I'm lifting the leg, and then I can reduce the pressure when I go down. Make sure you're doing that too, or just like something that acknowledges letting go of the work when you don't need it. The part I wasn't sure if it was universal, that makes me feel my core more. Let's go back and up. And when I say my core in this case, I'm just speaking loosely of the region around my trunk. When I'm trying to stabilize on my side like this, there's a lot of tone in the bottom side of the waist to help hold the pelvis still. And let's do one more time. Breathe in as you begin your circle and exhale around and back down. Okay, from here, I'm going to have you sit up and we're going to sit right on the ball. Actually, let me turn toward you for a sec. If this feels okay, you're going to have the soles of your feet together, knees out to the side. If that does not feel great on your body, go to a parallel, more shallow knee bend. Okay, now sideways. Ugh, I feel like I'm laying an egg. Okay, so just awareness again. Just wiggle a little bit. You want to make sure you start sitting on your sit bones for this exercise. Keep your back straight, and we're going to neutral, and we're going to tip forward, bringing your chest towards your feet, and then coming back up to vertical. I'm keeping a spider tip, spider finger tip touch to the floor so that I can facilitate the rock back and forth. I'm going to lift one hand though for a second so you can see what's happening. When I tip my chest forward, my pelvis is pushing the ball backwards, and then it's rocking forward when I come up. So powering it is really my legs pushing and pulling back, okay? The effect is that the ball rolls forward and back on the sit bones while I'm creating a little tractioning through the back of the leg. Okay, next, I'm still going to leave my arm out of the way, but pretend it was down there. From your vertical posture, try to curl the ball forward with a pelvic tilt and then pull it back underneath you to vertical. So now I'm drawing the sit bones towards the heels and then pushing the ball away. The effect is that my lower spine is flexing and then returning to neutral, but from up here, I'm trying to stay vertical. So it's like almost like somebody's trying to pull me down into an escalator by my tailbone. And then, okay, one more time. Tuck and release. Okay, switch to both feet flat with the legs parallel. And then we're just going to rock to the side like a little mermaid, back and forth. You keep going. I'm going to turn towards you again just to get a different view. So when I'm doing the lateral flexion, sitting on the ball, it is okay for your knees to rock a little bit like that. I'm pushing the ball to one sit bone, then the other sit bone, And if you can't tell which one, it's the side I'm facing or side bending towards, and then the other. Last two. All right, come on off of there. Now, put the ball behind you. Wedge it in as deep as you can against the back of your pelvis, and then just tilt back a little bit into it. So I've again created a slightly flexed lower spine, but then I'm still trying to sit up with my upper body, hands are on the floor. Try breathing, and just bring your attention to your lower abs. Exhale and try to compress the low abs as if you're trying to pull them through you to the ball. Or I don't usually want such a kind of contraction, just feel it a couple times. So breathe in, let yourself be light on the ball, and then exhale, pin the ball from front to back, squishy into it. Inhale, feel a little less pressure. Exhale, pin it, and hold that tuck. Now, lift one leg up into the air. When you exhale, you're going to reach your leg out straight. Inhale, bend your knees. The height of the leg on this exercise is highly variable person to person, so it might end up being really low to the ground. I want you to pick an angle where you can still pull those abs back to keep that ball pinned. One more time. Exhale away. Inhale back in. Put the foot back down. All right, other leg up to tabletop. Lift your chest, pull those abs back. Exhale, reach out. Inhale to bend. This is a challenging exercise on your hip flexor muscles. And if they tend to be tight in your body, you're going to know right where they are in this exercise. So the compression of your abs helps anchor or bind one end of the muscle so it can work eccentrically as you're straightening your leg. One more time. Back in, lower your foot back down. Now move the ball up your back so it's against the lower half of your rib cage. You want the ball to end just past where your shoulder blade starts. Bring your hands behind your head. And then angle your elbows forward a little bit. Lay back around the ball slowly with control and love and care, and feel what it's like to drape your body over it into extension. Now when you exhale, you're going to tip your chin down, curl up your head and shoulders, and look at your knees. As you breathe in, drop back over the ball, allow your elbows to open a little bit wider, and then exhale to curl back up, sliding your ribs towards your hips. Let's keep playing with that. So the movement of the elbows should help the spine, I guess, move in both directions. When you open the elbows wider as you lay back, your shoulder blades come together, facilitating that extension. And when you angle your elbows forward, it gives you a little more space between the blades, so the whole spine can contribute to the flexion. Let's do 3 more of these. Exhale and feel how the ribs slide down. Breathe into your chest as you open back. Exhale, compress those abs. One more time. Inhale, lay back. And then exhale to curl up again. Okay, let's make your crunches a little more complicated. I want you to slide down a little farther so the ball is in between your shoulder blades. And you can either move it off to the side or move you off to the side so the ball is no longer in the center. Position the ball, like if you could see through me, I'm trying to put the ball from like here to here along my back. So most of it's on the shoulder blade, and the side of the ball is at the spine. Okay, if you've moved it over enough, it should be hard to square off in the crunch position you were just in. Try to anyway. Push your feet down, see if you can get your legs parallel, hips even, and then really commit to that crunch we were doing before. That should be hard to hold. Okay, if you keep that flexion, and you rotate towards the ball, your shoulder blade will push the ball underneath you, and then you're going to turn back to the center. So let's take an exhale to rotate, and then come back to the center, staying flexed so you see your knees. Exhale as you twist, inhale back to center, and exhale, rotate. As an anchor point, use the opposite hip pressing down to resist your twist. And then next time you're rotated, stay in your rotation. Now I'm going to lay back, draping over the ball like we did before. So extension, rotation, and then exhale to curl back up. So you can see my gaze ends up side facing the whole time, but my head's definitely moving. And I'm always imagining my elbows going to the opposite knee just to help me keep me committed to this rotation. Now, if you've forgotten about the other leg or the other hip, push them into the floor a little bit more just to feel if they're still attached. 2 more times. Exhale up. Last one. And lift. Turn back to the center. All right, let's move the ball over to the other side, or you to the other side of your mat. Hands behind your head again. And then crunch forward a little bit. Feel the challenge. All right, now when you exhale, rotate to the ball side, and you want to feel it glide under you a little bit, and inhale to return. Exhale as you twist. Stay lifted, come to center. Push down that opposite hip, and inhale, return. So most of the movement's coming from here, and you can imagine like it's wrapping around. That's the effect of the obliques. Next time you're twisted, stay twisted, and then lay down over the ball and flex back up. Inhale, release, and exhale, lift. Drop down and up. Keep finding the rhythm of your breath. That inhale lets you hang and opens up your chest, and lift. Last 2. Push down into your big toes a little bit more. 1 more. And then back up. Let's come back into the middle. All right, let's take the ball out. I'm going to have you turn onto your stomach next. Okay, we're going to do flutter kicks from swimming. So you're going to start with your arms long and your hands on top of the ball. If that's not comfortable, you could definitely do this with your elbows bent and the ball closer to you to take some strain out of your upper body. You want your legs to be open about hip width apart and slightly turned out at your toes. Give a little pressure down onto the ball to prop up your upper body into a low hover. Let's try just lifting up into superhero first. When you exhale, draw your abs away from the mat so you're stable through your trunk. Then lengthen and lift your legs an inch or 2 off the floor and just hold that. Take a breath in, and then exhale to place your legs back down and just soften the pressure on the ball. So layer it. Feel the pressure of the arms so you're propped up, abs draw in, and then the legs get long and lift up. So we have work, but we also have traction through the whole body. And then lower it back down. 1 more time. Arms, abs. Now elongate and pick the legs up. Inhale, stay, and then exhale back down. All right, how about a flutter kick? Prop up your upper body, draw those abs in, and let's take your legs up into that superhero pose. All right, now little flutter kicks. You're going to inhale as you lift, alternating the legs. Now the challenge is to keep kind of a nice little zip to the kicks. And your upper body and your torso are trying to resist rotating, so the movement's just an isolation of the leg. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Try to keep your knees straight, and exhale. Last 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for an inhale. Lower those legs back down to the mat. All right, from there, open your legs a little bit wider, still in a turnout. And then you're going to move the ball to one side so it's under your forearm, other arms in by the side of your body. Now let's give you a little space to take on a bigger extension. This also highly variable person to person what it looks like. When you breathe in, push into the floor and begin to lift your head and chest away from the mat. You can rise as high as you're comfortable into extension, kind of dragging that ball in with you a little bit, and then push it away from you as you come back down. Sorry, that circle with my arm was not part of the exercise. I just wanted your attention over there. You're just going to come up smooth. I need to be an octopus and then back down. I need to do the exercises and have more limbs to point at me doing the exercises. Inhale, rise up, pulling your shoulder blades back and down. We're just going to do one more, and I'm sorry I waited for the last one to do this. This could be that small, where you still have a rib on the mat, and then back down. All right, let's take it to the other side. All right, so once again, press into the floor, start to lift your head and chest, drag the ball in closer towards you, and then lower back down, compressing your abs, releasing all the way to flat. And again, breathe in, glide the blade down, lift your head and chest, open up from your heart, and then exhale, control the return to the mat. Breathe in as you lift. When your shoulder blades pull back, notice how it presses your chest forward. Exhale as you return. And just one more time, inhale up, and then exhale to lower back down. All right, from there, sit back onto your heels into a shell stretch, and just round your spine. All right, take another breath in. Hold for an exhale and just compress the deep abdominal muscles. Now let's just rock a little bit. So you're going to pull the ball a little closer to you like you're starting to sit up, and then push the ball forward. So your spine will get a little rounder and then straighter as you go down. Just 2 more times. Okay, let's take it all the way up to sitting. And then legs out in front of you. Ball in your lap. Your legs can be straight or slightly bent at the knees if that's more comfortable. We're going to finish up a spine stretch forward today. So I want you to take your inhale to sit up tall out of your sit bones. When you exhale, drop your chin and start to roll the ball forward down towards your feet. You can even roll it onto your toes if you want to. Stay there and take a breath in. When you exhale, walk the ball back in and come back up to vertical. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale there. Exhale, drop your chin, roll the ball forward, compress your abdominal wall. Stay there, take a breath in at the bottom, and then exhale, walk that ball back in, stack to vertical. 1 more time like that. Breathe in, tip your chin down, curl forward, roll the ball to your toes. 1 more breath in to stay there, and then roll it back up to the top. All right, ball at chest height. Now you're going to reach the ball up to the ceiling, just to get a little extension in your back again. Bring it down to chest height, flex forward, holding it out over your legs, and then back in. Lift the arms, look up to follow it, back to chest height, flex forward, stack up tall. 1 more time. Inhale, lift, bring it back, round forward, and return. All right, all done for today. See you soon.